Don't you think your party needs to acknowledge that President Biden was not up for the job of running for re-election and that this was a major mistake by the
He made
Democrats?
that decision.
Let's go back to Jake Tapper and Tim Walz, because this, Jake, you're not on the left. I know, Jake, you're not on the left. Here they are talking about Biden's mental decline and everything else, and just how bad everything was. And they were both part of it, and now they're trying to explain it to us.
Well, what do you make of the criticism that one of the reasons why your party was so resoundingly rejected last November is because Democrats were gaslighting the country, saying that inflation was not a big deal, heralding Bidenomics. Not only Biden, but Kamala Harris was heralding Bidenomics, pretending that there wasn't a problem at the border. And then fundamentally, this idea that President Biden was up for another 4 years of the job while Americans in poll after poll for year after year were saying he's too old to do the job. Your party stood against all of those things.
Look, Joe Biden coming in and doing COVID and being a governor through COVID did a hell of a job. But I think one of the things that we didn't do is we assumed that we said, and it was true, that we were going to have a soft landing and our economy was better than the rest of the world. Better for who? Better for the working class who was saying groceries were too expensive, as they are now and going up. They got to see us talk about things. Again, I go back to this. Don't talk about food insecurity or housing type of issues. Talk about people being hungry and wondering where they're going to live, or about their children's future, about real security. And so I think your question is spot on. I think we got intellectualized on this. I think the fact of the matter is Joe Biden did soft land the economy. He did usher us through COVID. None of us are saying we should be soft on the border, but we allow a vacuum, and Donald Trump fills it, the 800-pound gorilla, and their narrative starts to stick, and we look weak. We look weak like we don't care. We look like look, Jake, I'm not going to say, we need to do is we need to just arrest people and ship them to El Salvador. No, we need to invest the money on border. We need to make sure that we have the judges necessary to adjudicate things faster. We need to make sure if you're going to be in this country here legally, and when you are, you're going to be uplifted, celebrated, and part of this great American tapestry. We didn't do that, and then it fills them. They'll find the example that is horrific where you have someone who's not here legally and they commit a crime. That is horrific, but we don't do a good job of telling that.
Don't you think your party needs to acknowledge that President Biden was not up for the job of running for re-election and that this was a major mistake by the
Democrats? He made that decision.
I know, but you all went along with the idea that he was up for it, and he wasn't. And everybody saw it, and the country rejected it.
Yeah, well, look, history will tell us to go back on that. That very well could be the case, Jake.
You awful human beings deserve each other. Like, you deserve all of this, Jake, and you deserve all of this, Tim. So he mentions three things there, Jake. Biden economics, which was that we printed a ton of money, right, to help the economy. But of course, what that did was cause inflation to go up, because if you just start printing something magically, supply and demand, Economics 101. So whether you went to Psychology 101, beginning of the show, or Economics 101, you pretty much can understand what's going on here. Then the border, we know, I don't have to explain that any further. And then the cognitive decline, which Jake has the temerity, he has the balls to be, quote unquote, writing, I know he didn't write it, to write a book about the very thing that he was hiding. Jake, did you say anything about how bad Bidenomics were for the years of Biden? Did you say anything about the border? And did you say anything about the cognitive decline? Why did I? But you didn't. So you're in it. Now you're trying to blame Tim Walz. Tim Walz, why didn't you do a better job with these things? Because he had people like you running cover for him. That's why. 1775 and Rumble just teamed up to launch their first ever anti-aging coffee, and it's almost gone. They dropped 1,000 longevity bundles, and after blowing through most of them, they extended the sale and added a couple more. But this is the final push, guys. Once they're gone for good. For just $99, you're getting over $250 in value, including 2 bags of longevity coffee, an ultra rare Peaberry roast, and exclusive 1775 merch you won't find anywhere else. This isn't some cheap throwaway promo roast. It's real, bold, high quality coffee. If you believe in America, this is your coffee, and here's the kicker. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 in cash. That's 99 entries locked in, and with less than a month left, this bundle gives you a real shot. Go to 1775coffee.com/Ruben to grab yours. Fuel up, live long, and start your morning with coffee.